I have been teaching interstellar biology at Galactic University for 43 cycles now, and I thought I had seen everything. Every species, every adaptation, every peculiar evolutionary quirk the galaxy had to offer. Then Luna walked into my classroom, and I realized how spectacularly wrong I was. The human girl sat in the back row, always quiet, always watching. Her presence made the other students uncomfortable, though none of them could quite explain why. Perhaps it was the way her eyes tracked movement with unnerving precision. Perhaps it was how still she could sit, barely breathing, while the rest of us fidgeted and shifted. Or perhaps, deep in our genetic memory, we recognized something that made our scales itch and our respiratory slits tighten. We recognized a predator. "Today," I announced, manipulating the holographic display with my upper tendrils, "we will discuss predator classifications across known worlds. As you can see, predators fall into 3 primary categories based on hunting methodology." The display showed various creatures from across the galaxy: ambush hunters, pack coordinators, persistence trackers, standard stuff, really. I had given this lecture hundreds of times. That was when Valk decided to open his oversized mouth. "Professor Thorne," the Krillex called out, his mandibles clicking with barely concealed amusement. "I notice you have not included humans in your predator classification. An oversight, surely." The classroom went silent. Every student turned to look at Luna, who continued staring at her datapad as if nothing had happened. But I saw it. The tiny muscle twitch at the corner of her mouth, the slight tilt of her head. Oh no. "The human species," I said carefully, "represents a unique case that defies simple classification. They exhibit characteristics of multiple hunting styles simultaneously, which makes them difficult to take seriously, you mean?" Dren interrupted, laughing along with his friend. The 2 Krillex sat together in the middle row, their chitinous bodies gleaming under the classroom lights. "Come now, Professor. Humans are soft. No natural armor, no venom, no claws worth mentioning. They come from a world they call difficult, yet they have no adaptations to show for it." Quinn, the 3rd member of their little group, joined in. "I heard a human broke down crying last week because someone insulted their choice of food. Apex predators? More like apex pretenders." The laughter spread through several rows. I noticed Luna still had not looked up from her datapad. Her fingers moved across the surface, typing something. Her expression remained completely neutral. That scared me more than if she had shown anger. "Gentlemen," I said, my vocal sac inflating with warning tones, "I would advise against..." "Against what?" Valk stood up, all 7 feet of him, his exoskeleton plates shifting with practiced intimidation. "Against speaking truth? The Krillex are the acknowledged hunters of this galaxy. We have tracked and captured prey on 600 different worlds. We have never failed a hunt. Never. And you want us to be afraid of a species that cannot even regulate their own body temperature properly?" Luna finally looked up. The room temperature seemed to drop by several degrees. At least, that is how it felt to my sensory organs. Luna smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the kind of smile that showed too many teeth. "You make an interesting point, Valk," she said, her voice calm and even. Pleasant, almost. "Tell me, have you ever actually hunted anything that could think? Or do you Krillex stick to chasing animals too stupid to set traps?" Valk's mandibles spread wide in what I recognized as aggressive posturing. "Are you challenging us, human?" "I am stating facts," Luna replied, setting down her datapad with deliberate care. "Your species has excellent sensory organs. Your exoskeleton provides natural armor. You possess greater strength than most sentient species. But you have never faced a human in an actual hunt, have you? Because humans are not worth hunting, Dren said, clicking his feeding appendages together. You are prey species pretending to have fangs. Luna stood up. She moved with fluid grace, her soft body somehow more threatening than any armored alien in the room. Then let us test your hypothesis. You three. Me. The University Wilderness Simulation Zone. After class. A friendly hunt. The classroom erupted in excited chatter. I tried to restore order, my tendrils waving frantically. Absolutely not. This is an academic institution, not an arena. I cannot possibly allow. Professor Thorne, Luna interrupted, turning those unsettling eyes toward me. This would be educational, would it not? A practical demonstration of predator behavior? I am certain the other students would benefit from observing how different species approach the concept of hunting. She had me trapped, and she knew it. The clever little Deathworlder had phrased it as an academic exercise. If I refused, I would appear to be stifling legitimate research. If I agreed, I would be sanctioning what could turn into a disaster. Valk clicked his mandibles together in what passed for Krillik's laughter. The human accepts. Excellent. We will show everyone exactly where your species ranks in the predator hierarchy, somewhere between scavengers and moss grazers, I suspect. Rules, Luna said, ignoring the insult. You three hunt me. I get a 10-minute head start. You bring whatever equipment you want. Simulation zone set to hostile environment of your choosing. First one to capture me wins. Non-lethal weapons only, obviously. Are these terms acceptable? Quinn leaned forward, his optical sensors gleaming with confidence. More than acceptable. We could track you with 3 minutes head start, but we will give you 10. We will even let you choose whether you want it to be day or night in the simulation. Oh, I do not need any advantages, Luna said sweetly. You choose everything. Terrain, time of day, weather conditions. Show me what Krillik's hunters can do when they have every possible benefit. The three hunters conferred briefly, their antennae touching in their species' version of private communication. Finally, Valk turned back to the class. Agreed. Today, immediately after this lecture ends. Dense jungle environment, daytime, high humidity. Plenty of places to hide, not that it will help you. We will bring our standard hunting equipment. You may bring whatever you wish. I will bring myself, Luna said. That will be sufficient. The arrogance, the sheer audacity. I wanted to shake her, to explain that Krillik's hunters had centuries of tradition, that they trained from hatching, that they possessed technology specifically designed for tracking prey across any environment. But something in her expression stopped me. She was not being arrogant. She was being honest. Somehow, that was infinitely worse. The rest of the lecture passed in a blur. I tried to continue with my prepared material, but no one was paying attention. The students whispered among themselves, placing bets, speculating about outcomes. The Krillik's trio sat with smug satisfaction radiating from every segment of their carapaces. Luna returned to her datapad, typing occasionally, looking for all the world like someone preparing a shopping list, rather than facing 3 of the galaxy's most efficient hunters. When class finally ended, the entire student body followed us to the simulation zone. Word had spread through the university with remarkable speed. By the time we reached the facility, at least 200 students and faculty members had gathered to observe. Pax, one of my fellow professors, grabbed my arm with his manipulation claw. Thorne, You cannot let this happen. That human girl will be traumatized. The Krillix will humiliate her. I tried to stop it, I said, my vocal sac deflating with resignation. But she accepted their challenge formally, in front of witnesses. If I intervene now, I will insult both parties. Eula, who taught xenopsychology, fluttered her wing membranes nervously. I have been researching humans since she arrived. Thorn, their homeworld, the things that evolved there. I think we may have made a terrible mistake. In what way? I asked. In assuming they are anything like us. Eula whispered. The simulation zone loomed before us, a massive dome capable of recreating any environment from any known world. Valk, Dren, and Quinn were already gearing up, strapping on thermal scanners, loading stun weapons, activating tracking drones. Their equipment looked military-grade, expensive, professional. Luna stood nearby wearing nothing but her standard university jumpsuit. No weapons, no gear, no equipment of any kind. She was stretching, bending her joints in ways that made my sensory organs hurt just watching. Humans were disturbingly flexible. Last chance to back out? Human, Valk called out. We are giving you an opportunity to preserve your dignity. Luna finished her stretches and smiled that terrible smile again. Oh, I would not dream of backing out. This is going to be educational, for all of us. The simulation zone controls activated. Inside the dome, a jungle sprang into existence. Dense vegetation, thick canopy, humid air that would make thermal tracking slightly more difficult, but not impossible. The Krillix had chosen well. It was their ideal hunting ground. 10 minutes head start, the facility coordinator announced. Beginning now. Luna walked toward the entrance, then paused and looked back at Valk. One question before we begin. Have you three ever considered why humans call our homeworld by its name? What name? Dren asked, mandibles clicking with confusion. Earth, Luna said softly. We named our planet Dirt. We named it after the ground we crawled out of. Does that not tell you something? Before anyone could respond, she vanished into the artificial jungle. Valk clicked his mandibles dismissively. Humans and their dramatics. 10 minutes. Then we show everyone what real hunters can do. I looked at Eula, who was frantically scrolling through her datapad, reading something about human evolution. Her wing membranes had gone pale. What is it? I asked. She looked up at me, her multiple eyes wide with dawning horror. Thorn, do you know what happened to every other apex predator on the human homeworld? Every single one. What happened to them? The humans out-competed them, not through strength, not through speed, through something much worse. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Through being better at hunting than anything else on their entire planet. In the control room view screen, I watched Luna's heat signature moving through the jungle. She was not running in panic. She was moving with purpose, with strategy, leaving a trail that seemed almost careless. Almost. The 10 minutes elapsed. The 3 Krillix hunters entered the simulation zone, their confidence filling the room like a bad smell. Their equipment hummed with active sensors. Their weapons gleamed with ready charge. Pax leaned close to me. This will be over quickly, at least. The human will learn a valuable lesson about humility. I watched Luna's heat signature pause near what looked like a small clearing, then split into 3 separate trails leading in different directions. Wait. How did one human create 3 different heat signatures? I do not think, I said slowly, that Luna is the one who will be learning today. The hunt had begun, and I had the terrible suspicion we were watching the wrong predator. The Krillix entered the simulation zone like they owned it. Valk took point, his thermal scanner sweeping left and right, tracking every heat bloom in the artificial jungle. Dren flanked to the east, his tracking drone buzzing overhead like an oversized insect. Quinn covered the western approach, stun rifle ready, his optical sensors cycling through multiple visual spectrums. They looked professional, coordinated, deadly. In the control room, 200 pairs of eyes watched the multiple camera feeds. The betting had intensified. Odds heavily favored the Krillix, naturally. 3 experienced hunters with military-grade equipment against 1 unarmed human girl. It seemed like a massacre waiting to happen. "I have her," Valk announced through his communication device. "Heat signature bearing 40 degrees, moving northeast. She's running. Good. The prey should run." I watched the thermal overlay on the main view screen. Luna's signature was moving fast through the undergrowth, leaving a clear trail. Too clear, perhaps. But the Krillix seemed satisfied with their initial tracking success. "Splitting up to box her in," Dren said. "Standard encirclement pattern." "Confirmed," Quinn replied. "She cannot escape all 3 of us. This will be over in minutes." Eula gripped my arm tighter. "Thorn, look at her movement pattern. Does that seem like panicked running to you?" I studied the thermal readout more carefully. Luna was moving in what appeared to be erratic patterns, doubling back occasionally, climbing over obstacles. It looked like fear-driven flight. But something nagged at my consciousness. Some detail my academic brain could not quite identify. "She is scared," Pax said confidently. "Running without thinking. The human realizes she made a mistake." The 3 Krillix moved deeper into the jungle, their formation tightening. Valk was closing the distance rapidly, his superior speed giving him advantage. Dren's tracking drone provided aerial surveillance, feeding data directly to all 3 hunters. Quinn moved methodically, cutting off potential escape routes. It was textbook hunting strategy. Flawless execution. That was when Dren's drone stopped transmitting. "Dren?" Valk called out. "Report. Your drone feed just went dark." Silence. "Dren, respond immediately." More silence, then a rustling sound through the communication link. Something that might have been labored breathing. Then nothing. Valk and Quinn immediately converged on Dren's last known position. I leaned closer to the view screen, my tendrils coiling with nervous tension. The camera drone struggled to penetrate the thick canopy, providing only fragmented views of the jungle floor. They found Dren's tracking drone first. It lay in pieces, crushed by what looked like bare hands. The metal frame was bent at impossible angles, the circuitry exposed and sparking weakly. "Impossible," Quinn whispered. "That casing is reinforced polymer. It would require tremendous grip strength to—" "There!" Valk pointed upward with one of his manipulator limbs. Dren hung upside down from a thick branch, wrapped in what appeared to be makeshift rope constructed from vines. He was conscious but thoroughly immobilized, his weapons and equipment stripped away. A piece of fabric was attached to his chest plate, with a thorn. Valk grabbed the fabric and read the handwritten message aloud, his mandibles trembling slightly. "One down. Thanks for the equipment." The human girl with no natural weapons. The mocking tone was unmistakable. Luna had left a note, like she was playing some kind of game. "This is not possible," Quinn said, his optical sensors flickering with disbelief. "We had visual confirmation. We were tracking her heat signature. She was running away from us, not circling back to—" He stopped mid-sentence. "The heat signatures," I breathed from the control room. "She created false trails." "But how?" Eula was typing frantically on her datapad. Humans regulate body temperature through perspiration. She could have left clothing items in different locations to create thermal decoys while she hunted us. Valk finished grimly through the communication feed. Luna's voice suddenly echoed through the jungle, coming from everywhere and nowhere. The communication system had been hacked. She was speaking directly to them through their own equipment. Did you know humans evolved as persistence hunters? We did not chase prey until we caught it. We chased prey until it died from exhaustion. We tracked animals for days, weeks sometimes. We followed blood trails across continents. We learned to think like our prey, to anticipate, to strategize. Her voice was calm, almost conversational, educational even. You Krillix hunt with technology. Very impressive technology, I must admit. But tell me something. What happens when technology fails? Valk fired his stun rifle into the foliage, the energy discharge illuminating the jungle in blue-white flashes. Nothing. No target. No human. Luna laughed. The sound came from a completely different direction than her voice. You are scared now? I can hear it in your breathing. Your heart rate has increased. You are experiencing what every prey animal in the galaxy experiences when it realizes the hunt has reversed. Quinn backed against a tree, his weapons trained on the surrounding darkness. This is insane. We are calling this off. Do you hear me, human? The challenge is over. Oh no, Luna replied, her voice somehow closer now. You wanted to see what a Deathworld predator could do. You wanted to put me in my place. Well, I am going to show you exactly where humans belong in your precious predator hierarchy. The jungle had become utterly silent, except for the labored breathing of two very frightened Krillix hunters. And somewhere in that silence, a human girl was smiling. Valk and Quinn pressed their backs together, forming a defensive position that would have made their instructors proud. Their weapons swept the jungle in coordinated arcs. Their thermal scanners ran continuous sweeps. They had training. They had experience. They had 600 successful hunts between them. None of it mattered. Listen, Valk hissed to Quinn. We regroup at the clearing ahead. Open ground. No cover for her to use. We call for extraction and end this embarrassment. Agreed, Quinn said, his optical sensors flickering nervously. On 3, 1, 2. They moved together, backing toward the clearing Valk had identified on his scanner. Professional, controlled, exactly by the manual. Luna let them reach it. The clearing was perhaps 30 feet across, ringed by dense foliage. Perfect kill zone for anyone hiding in the vegetation. Valk and Quinn knew this, but they had no choice. Stay in the jungle and get picked off separately, or take their chances in the open. You know what I learned about Krillix hunters? Luna's voice drifted from the jungle wall. You rely too much on your equipment. Your scanners tell you where prey is located. Your drones give you aerial advantage. Your weapons do the actual work of subduing targets. A rock flew out of the undergrowth. Valk fired instantly, the stun blast obliterating a fern. Nothing behind it. But without your tools, Luna continued from a different location, you're just big insects who never learned to hunt with your own bodies. Show yourself, coward. Valk roared, mandibles spread wide. Coward? Luna actually sounded amused. You outnumber me 3 to 1. You have weapons, you have armor. You chose the terrain. And you think I am the coward for using the only advantages I have? My brain, my adaptability, my willingness to get dirty. Something moved in the canopy above. Both Krillix fired upward, energy blasts scorching leaves and branches. A bundle of vegetation fell to the ground, weighted with rocks. A decoy. Luna dropped from a completely different tree, landing between them with a heavy thud. She was covered head to toe in mud, her thermal signature completely masked. In her hands, she held Dren's stun baton, salvaged from his equipment. Quinn spun and fired, but Luna was already moving. She rolled beneath the energy blast, came up inside his guard, and pressed the baton against his leg joint, where the exoskeleton was thinnest. Quinn convulsed and dropped, his nervous system overloaded. Valk lunged at her, mandibles snapping. Luna ducked, swept his legs with a kick that should not have worked against something with an exoskeleton, but somehow did, and stepped back as he crashed to the ground. She stood over both of them, breathing hard, mud dripping from her face. Her eyes gleamed with something primal. "You want to know the real difference between humans and everyone else?" she asked. "We did not evolve with natural weapons, because we did not need them. We made our own. We adapted to every environment on our planet. Frozen wastelands, burning deserts, deep oceans, thick jungles. We conquered all of it." She tossed the stun baton aside. "And we did it by being better at hunting than anything that tried to hunt us first." Valk struggled to rise, but Luna planted a foot on his thorax. Not hard enough to damage, but enough to make her point. "Do you yield?" she asked quietly. In the control room, absolute silence reigned. 200 students and faculty members stood frozen, unable to process what they had witnessed. "I yield," Valk whispered. Luna stepped back, offering him a hand up. He stared at it for a long moment before accepting. The hunt was over. The human had won. Faculty members rushed into the simulation zone the moment the all-clear signal activated. Medical technicians attended to the 3 Krillix hunters, checking for injuries beyond wounded pride. Dren had been cut down from his vine prison. Quinn was recovering from the stun baton. And Valk sat in the mud, staring at nothing in particular. Luna stood nearby, wiping mud from her face with a towel someone had handed her. She looked tired but satisfied, like a student who had just aced a particularly difficult examination. "That was extraordinary," Eula breathed, her wing membranes quivering with excitement. "Absolutely extraordinary. The tactical awareness, the psychological manipulation, the sheer audacity of it all." "That was terrifying," Pax corrected. "We just watched a single unarmed human dismantle 3 professional hunters like they were hatchlings playing at Predator." I approached Luna carefully, unsure what to say. She smiled at me, and this time it was genuine. No teeth showing. Just a tired young woman who had proven a point. "I assume you want an explanation for my methodology?" she asked. "The entire faculty would appreciate understanding what we just witnessed," I replied. Luna nodded and walked back toward the control room, gesturing for everyone to follow. The crowd parted for her like she was royalty. Or perhaps like she was something dangerous that should not be cornered. In the control room, she pulled up the tactical display and began her breakdown. First, I never ran in panic. I ran in patterns designed to make them think I was panicking. Every doubled-back trail, every seemingly random direction change, was calculated to make them overconfident. She pointed to the map. While they thought I was fleeing, I was actually studying their formation, their communication patterns, their decision-making process. "The heat signatures," I said. "You created false thermal trails." "Correct. I removed my outer jacket and tore it into pieces, leaving them in different locations. The residual body heat created multiple weak signatures that confused their scanners just enough." She grinned. "Also, rolling in mud masks thermal output remarkably well. Humans figured that out thousands of years ago." Valk had entered the control room, walking stiffly. You attacked Dren first, because you identified him as the one providing aerial intelligence. Yes. Remove the eyes in the sky, and you force the hunters to rely on ground-level perception only. Basic tactics. Luna brought up another display. Then I used your own communication frequencies against you. Your equipment broadcasts on predictable bands. I hacked into them using Dren's gear. After that, psychological warfare became easy. You made us afraid, Quinn said quietly. He had joined his fellow hunters, all three standing together. You turned us from predators into prey using nothing but words and our own imagination. Fear is a tool, Luna said simply. Humans understand fear very well. We lived with it every day on our homeworld. Predators in the trees, predators in the water, predators in the tall grass. We survived by learning to make the predators fear us instead. Eula stepped forward, datapad clutched in her manipulator claws. I have been researching human evolution. Your species competed against creatures with superior strength, speed, venom, claws, teeth. How did you win? We thought better, Luna replied. We adapted faster. We worked together. We never gave up, ever. A human will chase prey until the prey drops dead from exhaustion. A human will track wounded animals for days. A human will set a trap and wait in ambush for hours without moving. We are persistent. We are patient. We are creative. She turned to face the three Krillix hunters directly. And we remember every species that ever thought we were easy prey. We remember what happened to them. Valk lowered his head in a gesture of respect I had never seen a Krillix offer another species. We apologize for our arrogance. We did not understand what we were challenging. Apology accepted, Luna said, extending her hand. No hard feelings. You wanted a demonstration. I provided one. The three hunters each shook her hand in turn. An alliance had been formed, born from conflict and sealed with mutual respect. As the crowd began to disperse, Luna approached me. Professor Thorne, I hope this does not affect my grade in your class. I could not help myself. I laughed, my vocal sac inflated and deflated with genuine mirth. On the contrary, I believe this practical demonstration deserves extra credit, though I will need to revise my entire lecture on predator classifications now. Happy to help with that, Luna said, grinning. Just remember one thing when you update your notes. What is that? This was me playing around, being gentle. This was not actual human military training or survival protocols or what we call combat doctrine. Her expression became serious. What you saw today was a university student having fun with a training exercise. Imagine what an actual human soldier could do. The implications of that statement settled over me like a heavy blanket. I returned to my office later that evening and opened my lecture files. I created a new section, typing carefully with my tendrils. Addendum to Predator Classifications. Subject: Humans. Recommendation: never challenge a human to a hunt. They have spent millions of years perfecting the art of being the galaxy's most terrifying pursuit predators. And they are just polite enough to let you think otherwise. Until you give them a reason not to be polite anymore. I saved the file and leaned back in my chair. Tomorrow I would teach my students about the true apex predators of the known galaxy. And I would make absolutely certain none of them ever made the same mistake Valk, Dren, and Quinn had made. Some lessons are best learned vicariously. Watching Luna hunt had been educational indeed, just not in the way anyone expected.